start with the creation of our government. You see, before the Constitution, we had these documents called the Articles of Confederation. These were created by the Continental Congress, or the Congress of unelected old dudes that created the Declaration of Independence, plus some other guys. These guys took it upon themselves, after declaring independence, to establish a government of some sort to keep the people together. However, this was a riddled disaster due to the fact that the Articles had almost no power, thus making them useless at governing a country. I mean, they couldn't even give the government the power to collect taxes, and without taxes, there is anarchy. This led to the eventual collapse of the convention. So a convention was held in Philadelphia called, you guessed it, the Constitutional Convention. In this convention, the same old unelected guys met up and hashed out all the details of what the government should look like. During this meeting, James Madison, who became the 5th president later on, came up with the Virginia Plan. This plan ditched the Articles in favor of a new, more powerful government. This government was to have 3 branches: a legislative, judicial, and executive. Now you know of its creation, let's get down to what is what, starting with the legislative. The legislative is the Congress part of the government. It contains the House of Representatives and the Senate. The House has 435 members, 441 if you include not-member states, but originally started with 65. The amount of representatives from any given state is proportional to the population of that state. California has the highest with 53, and Alaska, Delaware, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Vermont, and Wyoming are all tied for last place with just 1 rep. In contrast, the Senate has 2 members per state no matter what, so California, with its population of 39 million, has the same representation in the Senate as does Wyoming, with its population of only 585,000. Now, the whole point of this government is to create a system of checks and balances. In the legislative branch's case, Congress can veto presidential actions and declare war and other good stuff. Both the Senate and the House of Representatives have to work together in order to pass laws, borrow money from China, and keep the country together. Now we visit the judicial branch. According to the all-knowing Wikipedia, the judicial branch is in charge of deciding the meaning of laws, how to apply them to real situations, and whether a law breaks the rules of the Constitution. The Constitution is the highest law of our nation. The U.S. Supreme Court, the highest court in the United States, is part of the judicial branch. So to sum that whole thing up, the judicial branch of the government takes the laws that Congress makes and decides if they are unconstitutional. Thus, they have the power to overrule Congress's decisions. The Supreme Court, which as aforementioned heads the judicial branch, consists of 9 justices, 8 associate judges, and 1 chief justice. These justices are nominated by the president and can be approved by Congress. The most recent judge, Neil M. Gorsuch, was indicted in 2017. Lastly, we visit the executive branch. This is the branch occupied by the president. Whether you hate him or not, Donald Trump is the current president, making him the 45th president. Although he could be called the 44th president due to the fact that Grover Cleveland served as both the 22nd and 24th president. The president has many powers, including the power to veto bills that Congress passes. However, with a 2/3 majority, Congress could veto the president's veto. The president also has the power to make executive orders. Although not said in the Constitution, these orders are when the president uses their status of commander-in-chief of the army in order to make laws go into effect by bypassing Congress's approval. The Supreme Court, though, can still declare these orders unconstitutional. Presidents serve 4-year terms unless death reaches them first. In the case of death, the vice president becomes the president for the remainder of the president's term. Also, the president can serve up to 8 years, split into 2 terms, either consecutive or non-consecutive. In summary, the Constitution established the creation of 3 branches of government: the legislative, judicial, and executive. If you would like to learn more about topics, catch up on the news, or enjoy learning about languages, then subscribe to Histories of the Past and get learning right away. Thank you for listening.